Hi, I'm Stephen Gandolfi, and welcome once again to the tasting room here at Westport Whiskey and Wine. Which is actually, this is the tasting room. That's just not the name of the show. Anyway, this week's events, we've got here on Tuesday night, Penfolds Wine. Penfolds, of course, big Australian juggernaut, producer of wine. Still some seats open for that. It's filling up really fast, though. I would check online, see if we still have available. It's $15 a person. The next night is something that I want to take a second and actually address. I usually kind of brush through these. Wednesday night is going to be Cavall Distilling from Chicago. Cavall makes a whole lineup of interesting craft whiskeys. They, of course, do clear make as well. I think they're going to be doing some of their gins as well on Wednesday night. But they are an underrated, overlooked, really interesting craft distiller. And some of their stuff penetrates the Kentucky market. Not a whole lot of it. It gets passed by a lot. But they're going to be here, they're going to be pouring, and they're going to be talking about their product on Wednesday night. I think that's also $15 a person. But again, check our website, and I highly encourage you to show up for that. That's going to be a really compelling tasting. Thursday night is bar night. Tim will be here, other than myself, and that week is a little up in the air. We were talking about doing Speyside scotches, but something sort of fell through, and we're going to be doing something different. Stay tuned. TBA, we'll be announcing what that is probably early this week. But on to this week's flight. This is one that I thought it was time to revisit. It is the Whisky Row Series from Old Forester. So what we have with the Whisky Row Series is 4 distinct expressions of Old Forester, essentially, entirely the same recipe, just 4 different takes on it. We have the 1870, or the original batch, the 1897, which is their bottled and bond expression, the 1910, or Old Fine whiskey, and the 1920 Prohibition style. Starting with the 1870, this is supposedly a throwback to what George Garvin Brown would have been producing initially. It's a very spice-forward whiskey. I get clove, I get allspice, I get coriander, and then there is a definitive citrus characteristic right about mid-palate, right on the finish too, of citrus peel. And think like if you've ever had like a spice cake with a citrus glaze, that's sort of what's evoked here for me as well. Moving on to the 1897, the bottled and bond. I can take a second here to address the history of Old Forester and bottled and bond. I'm pretty sure I've done that in a bunch of other videos. I'll do it anyway here. Of course, 1897 is the year of the Bottled and Bond Act. It was fostered through government appeals by E.H. Taylor, Colonel Edmund Taylor, during his employ at Brown-Forman in the 19th century. This reflects their 1897 expression, their bottled and bond expression. Also worth noting, this is where Old Forester has their whole first in bottle, because they were the first to bottle and bond act. At any rate, 1887 bottled and bond, a much creamier style than what we'll see on these other ones. It's got a very voluminous, rich mouthfeel. There's some of that spice as well, but for me, that's underlined by these like fruity, dark coffee, like cold brew coffee kind of notes. There's a little bit of that roasty character too, but it's just these like dark preserved fruits and a little bit of like underlying kind of molassesy character too. But again, gorgeous mouthfeel in that whiskey. 1910. This is the one that everybody's gonna lose their minds over. I like it. I'm gonna tell you, between you and I find it maybe the least compelling of this lineup. It's fine, it's tasty, but it's a little one-dimensional. It's sweet, it's got some cherry notes, I think like cherry preserve, there's some chocolate to it as well. It does what it does exceptionally well, but I sort of feel like it's not as nuanced as the rest of this lineup. From here, we'll wind up with The last one, the 1920, the Prohibition style, far and away my favorite. I like most of these guys. This is just such a beautiful whiskey. At its price point, which is about $61, $62, this is one of the best sort of premium bourbons available on shelves year-round. I really can't recommend this enough. At 115 proof, I will recommend a little bit of water. It does change the way this whiskey drinks, more so than a lot of other times where something at just even that sort of low proof can kind of get by. But at 115, just a drop, it really brings up some gorgeous characteristics in this note. Chewy caramel kind of notes, lots of lovely woody notes, some of that same spice that follows through all of these, but also, again, some of those sort of stewed and immersive fruits that you find on this one. Toffee, sticky toffee pudding sort of notes as well, underlying a sort of nutty layer as well. But at any rate, that's going to be our flight for this week. Old Forester Whisky Row. Typically, this would be $22. I say we do 15 this week. So, come on by. Remember again, please check out Cabal on Wednesday. I think it's going to be a killer tasting. I'll be here. Y'all should check it out too. And come on and join us for some Old Forester whiskeys this week.